Now, where are the SAP career offerings? SAP career offerings can be there into the two places. Business operations. Business operations also require people who knows SAP, and then they require consultant. Okay, then they also require consultant. I will talk about what SAP consultant does, but let's go to the business operations first. Okay, in business operations, we have these kind of roles: end user, business analyst, super user, core user, key users. That would be the business operation role. Now you need to tell, and this is the largest community. This is the biggest community in SAP. Consultant is a smaller community. The business operations, end user, business analyst, super user, this is the largest community. So when a company implements SAP, after implementing SAP, they need people who know SAP, who would be going inside SAP to create a sales orders, to create a delivery, to create a purchase orders, to do the GL accounting entries. The people who would be after the SAP is implemented, who would be doing this operation. So you have different departments, right? You have a buying department, and they are creating purchase requisitions, purchase orders, monitoring it, creating a contract with the vendor, right? And then you have a finance department who is managing accounts payable, account receivable, assets. So end user would be the people who actually do the transaction on day-to-day basis. They are your department people, finance clerk, manufacturing supervisors, manufacturing engineers, okay, production planning control people. They need to use the system. So they are the end user of the system. They are the end user of the system. Let's say, just to give you a very basic example, we are running this training on Zoom software, right? We are running this training on the Zoom software. So we are using Zoom. I am using Zoom. You are using Zoom. So we are the end user of Zoom. Then Zoom has its big team who do the developments, who do the improvements. And for the large enterprise, they also have a team who help to implement Zoom for the large enterprise, where basically for some people are replacing their Microsoft Teams with the Zoom, right? Making it as a official communication tool. So that is another team who is doing that work, right? But the most number of people are the end user. Now, Zoom is a very basic software, which you can just log in and you will just try here and there. And within 30 minutes, you would be able to know how to do it. SAP is not that easy. SAP is not that easy. When the SAP screen comes to you, the screen looks like this. Okay, we have a Fiori also, but I will just show you the SAP screen. When you log into SAP, this is the Fiori screen. Yeah, so this is the screen looks like. Now here, how you need to create a production, how you need to see the inventory, how you need to create a purchase orders, how you can book your GL account entries, where you need to do AP, where you need to do AR, what fields, everything you need to train the people. Okay, people need to know it, the processes, and how to do those processes in SAP. So end user get a very good training in the businesses, and then they are able to do the things in system. But SAP is a standard software. So many companies prefer, even when I was working in manufacturing, and we need to hire some planner, we need to hire some production engineer. We always prefer that if that guy has already worked in SAP, he has a SAP end user experience, we prefer to take them. People who already know the SAP, we prefer to take them because they would be able to quickly adapt to the business processes. A lot of things they already know about SAP. They need to know that how that particular company is utilizing SAP, what are the changes are there. But if SAP end user you are already doing, then you would be able to quickly adopt it. It's same way that you know that a company who's maintaining their accounts in Tally, and then they need to take their accountant, right? They prefer to take their accountant who knows the Tally, who has worked on Tally. Now you are a company who's working into SAP and you want to hire your accounts payable clerk. Now accounts payable clerk, when you have a multiple CVs come, if SAP is implemented, that is also a shortlist criteria, whether the guy knows SAP. Because if he does not know SAP, is working on Tally, Tally is very different than SAP. Then you need to train him. He would be requiring a month or two to get onboarded to the SAP screen, to understanding it, because SAP is very wide. Okay, which fields you need to fill, if something is coming, how to do the troubleshooting, how to check the master data. A lot of things you need to know it, right? So that experience also values. So when you're applying for the business operations job, there also, if you know SAP, your value increases, and people prefer, if the SAP is implemented, people will be preferring to take a candidate who already know SAP or who already work on SAP. Those are the people who are preferably taken. Okay, so after learning the SAP, you can also start your career as an end user also. I will talk about consultant. Consultant is more we are interested in, but just to let you know that, and there are some streams. There are some streams where SAP end user is paid more than SAP functional consultant. Can you let me know what is this? What are those streams or modules where SAP end user are paid more than the SAP functional consultants? Quickly. SCM, right? FICO still no. FICO consultants are paid higher. SCM is right. Within SCM, there are the specific things. Anyone else? Quickly, you need to answer it. You can type NI. But this is my hack to make sure you bring back into this session. Otherwise, your mind will get diverted, right? So this is kind of a hack I use to throw a question to you, which you need to type. And if you don't know the answer, put NI. Hybris, no, I'm not aware about Hybris. EWM also. Planners, Abhishek Pal, very good. Planners, you know that the people who handle the planning tools. Okay, not only in SAP, the planners, you said it correctly because it is beyond the SAP tools. The planning is the planning and the planning tools are very specific. If you are a planner, you need to know which planning tool, how to handle it, how to operate it. Otherwise, people can spend 3 to 6 months going into organization, and then they are still struggling to adopt to these planning tools. First, IBP. IBP end user can be paid more than the functional consultant if he has a good planning knowledge plus the IBP knowledge. Same way, Kinexis is known SAP. O9 is also known SAP. Then within SAP, the modules like PPDS, production planning and detailed scheduling, if you know it, from the end user perspective, only if you know it, then also you can be paid more than the functional consultant, right? APO, people who handle APO, they have a good knowledge on how to handle the demand planning APOs. Those people are paid higher, right? Those kind of things are there. So end users are there. Business analysts also, you can become a business analyst if you have a few years of experience in SAP, in business operations, and then you also know SAP. You can join a company as a business analyst. Some people call it business analyst. Some people call it LDT, local deployment team. Some people call it as a super user, core user. So these terminologies are mixed up with each other. Okay, but this business analyst, which is the people who has a good business knowledge, who has a good SAP knowledge, who can work to improve the processes. Okay, who can work, they have a good business knowledge in business, they know that what is happening, what exactly business required, they can brainstorm, they can fine tune the requirement, and then they are the one who is giving that requirement, analyzing in which department, which areas the improvements are required, and they are taking it to the IT team. Those are the people who are the business analysts. Business analysts, if they have SAP knowledge, they know at least how the things can be done in SAP, what kind of limitations are there in SAP. Then super user, core user, or key users are the big brother of end users. They are the big brother of end users. So super user is the one guy who is working as an end user, and then he is working for quite some time. He has a good knowledge onto that particular module and the business processes, or he was involved into the implementation process. Then also they have a good knowledge. They have gone through the multiple trainings. They have gone through the multiple discussions. They have tested the tool, so they become a super user or core user. They know more than the end user. They are still less knowledge in module than a consultant, but they know more than the end user. These community also do the level 1 support. If an end user, he is trying to create a purchase order, he's getting a problem. He's not able to do it. He's getting a problem. He can approach to super user or key user. Super user or key user will try to resolve the problem. And if they are not able to resolve the problem, then it goes to the support consultant level 2. Okay. Especially the people who are freshers. I always recommend, if you are a fresher with a zero experience, you can always try for a consulting job. But you should look forward if you can work for 2 years minimum as an end user, okay, in a company, or a super user as a company with the SAP knowledge where the SAP is implemented. And then after 2, 3 years working there, you would be having very strong hand onto the business processes. You know the SAP also, you learned the SAP outside, like from institute like us. And then you would be able, when you would be able to convert your profile to a consultant, you will become a very strong consultant. Okay. You will become very strong consultant because you have worked in business. When we are consulting something, when you're consulting production or manufacturing, at least you should have work into the manufacturing. Then only you should be able to consult for the manufacturing. You should be knowing what kind of key problems, common problems are there in the manufacturing operations, because these tools are made to help business operations. If you don't know what are the problems there in the business operations or how the business operations are run in general, then you always find it difficult to do the consulting. So this is the business operations, and there are huge amount of opportunities are there after learning the different modules from us. I always ask the people, if you have a less experience, you can still look forward to end user job. And then after doing the 2 years of end users, you can convert into the consultant. There are a couple of people who came to me and then they explained, there was one lady from Singapore. She got trained and she was having two requirements. One, she would be working as a business analyst or a core user role. And then in another opportunity, she was working, she need to work as a consultant. And I actually suggested her to go for this business analyst and the super user kind of a role. She was trained on SAP SD by us, right? Why I have asked her to do it? Because she was having little less experience into the domain. So with that one, she would be 2, 3 years, she would be enriching her domain experience. And then if she will jump into the consulting job, that would be better for her. So in some people, I also suggest them rather than go for consulting, go for these kind of jobs. And these courses we train you can help you to have both kind of jobs, these kind of jobs or consultant kind of jobs. I will jump into the question and answer. If you have any questions which you have typed there, I will jump into it. Let me finish this career offering. Consultants, what are the offerings are there for consultant? Consultant can be a technical consultant, can be a functional consultant. Technical consultant can become a BAP consultant, BI consultant, Fiori consultant, BW, BTP, HANA. So these are the different technical modules where basically database handling, coding requirements would be there. You would be working on them. Okay. It is less business process, but more IT tool. Technical is less business process and more knowledge on the IT tool. Then you have a functional consultant. You can become a SD consultant, MM consultant, TP consultant, FICO consultant. You can become in these ones also. You can have a different projects which you can work on. So what these consultants does, the functional consultant, as a functional consultant, you would be approaching, you would be hired. You can be hired by a consulting companies. Let's say Accenture, Wipro, HP, multiple consulting companies are there. They hire the consultants and they run the SAP projects, and then they give the resources to the clients to complete the SAP projects. Or you can also be hired with the companies like the core companies, the business operation companies. They also have their IT team. Let's say you can be hired by Unilever, you can be hired by Siemens, you can be hired by Bosch. These companies, all the companies also, they have their internal IT team also, where the consultants are required, right? So what these consultants would be doing, these consultants are expected that they have a business process knowledge into their expertise domain, whichever domain you have selected. And then you should also be having a very good knowledge onto SAP module. You know the configurations, you know the master data, you have a good knowledge onto the SAP module. When you are taken by any of the client, you would be approaching the client. Let's say you are working on a specific project. So what kind of projects are there? Let's say you are working on an implementation project. So you would be going as a consultant to a company, let's say a car manufacturing company. They want to implement SAP. And you went there as a PP consultant, right? So the first thing you would try to understand their business. How do they do their business? What is their business process operations? What is their as is business process? Right? And based on that, you would be suggesting them what should be the to be business process with SAP. What are the key things in their business processes which can be directly adopted by SAP, which can be directly adopted on SAP? What are the key differences which SAP cannot adopt? So either we need to change the business process or we need to change the SAP. So those kind of discussions you need to do with business after understanding their business process, right? So that require a lot of good knowledge onto the business processes. Then only you would be able to do that discussions as an expert, right? And once you do that discussions, once you understand it, then you need to prepare your business blueprint documents that this is how the SAP would be implemented in company. These processes would be there. Then as per the business requirement, you need to do the configurations. You need to set up the master data. You need to help them to collect the master data. And you need to also work on the gaps, that what are the things which cannot be directly adopted by SAP by master data or configuration, but it will require some developments. So you need to also work on gaps. You need to create a functional specification. You need to engage with then this IT team with the ABAPers to get the development done. Then you need to do the testing also. Then you need to explain the people. You need to train the people. Then you need to complete that project, making sure it is going live successfully. So in this implementation project, a lot of activities would be there. One wave of implementation can be anywhere between 8 to 12 months or 8 to 18 months. One wave of implementation. And in an implementation project, there can be multiple waves where you can be engaged for 5 to 10 years also in one single implementation project as a consultant. Right? So that is the work which consultant does. So you can get, as a consultant, you can get these different kind of projects. You can get an implementation project. You can get a support project. Support project means SAP is already implemented. Okay, SAP is already implemented, and we need still consultant, because in an ongoing business also, business would be understanding that what improvements they require. So support teams does that improvements. New report is required. New form is required. Now they need to follow a new business process. Or in the existing business process, some bugs are there, some issues are there. Someone into the business user, they are not able to create a purchase order. They are finding some issues. They are finding some errors, right? And they are not able to resolve. So that tickets are created and goes to the support team, and support consultant respond to those tickets. So that is a support consultant role. So you can be hired or given a assignment in the support project or implementation project, or a template rollout. Template rollout is similar as implementation. In template rollout, we create a template. Okay, and that template we implement in one of the country or one of the region. And then the same template, we take it to the another countries, and implement in all those countries, we implement as template. So that is a rollout project, template rollout. It's almost equivalent to implementation only. Conversion projects are specific. We teach the conversion projects more into our excellence trainings. We are basically, you would be working, a company has a ECC system, SAP system, they want to move to the new version, SAP S/4HANA. So there also the consultants would be required to do those projects. There are some projects where they have a specific team, testing team. We call it as a test factories are there. That consultants are there responsible only to do the testing. They all are functional consultant. Their role can be only to do the testing in a project. Then there can be some data, people working on data. You are only responsible for the cutover. In the cutover, whatever the data you need to require, the data need to collect, capture, upload. During the SAP implementation, a lot of master data is required. Materials need to be collected. The data need to be fine-tuned. Customer data, vendor data. Then in PP, you have a bill of material data, production versions, routing, recipes, these all are the master data. And many times there are a specific team who is handling this master data, who is helping the business to collect the data and upload the data. So you can also be part of that team. Okay, you are still a consultant, but your focus area is on the data, master data or the transaction data, how to collect, how to fine tune, and how to upload in the system. Okay, in testing, your focus area can be on the testing. A test script has been given, or you would be preparing a test script and you would be doing the testing. Or your fake focus area also, we are as a Sastrageek, we have working with 3 or 4 clients where our focus area is our consultants specifically work on to the trainings. When the implementations are happening, we have our training roles with us where basically we as a trainer need to look what kind of training materials need to develop. We develop the training materials, we train the key users, we train the super users, and we train the end users. So the bigger the project is, the different teams would be there. Okay, the smaller the project is, a consultant would be doing testing also, data also, and training also. In the current project we are doing, we have a specific testing team, we have a very specific cutover and data team, and we have a specific training team. And we have another consultants who do the all other work. So the bigger the project is, the separate group can be there. I want to highlight this part, the projects related part, because sometimes we understand or sometimes people know that to become a consultant, ki bhaiya, I need to do each and everything. I do a lot of career counseling. I met with the people who are working, thinking, and then getting training, getting reading something. And from last 3, 4 years, they are doing it, that thing. And when I ask that, are you available in the job market? Are you looking for the job, sir? I still don't have a confidence. I still don't know many things. So I'm not going. So you can be a consultant, even though if you know a good part of a business partner, vendor master data, that part you know very strongly, you can also be consultant in that part. There are companies who hire the consultant who are strong into the data side, entity data. They do the implementation also, but they are hiring a people. They are specifically focused company on the data. So they have a specific people who goes into the projects and they focus on to the data. Specifically the PP consultant. In PP, there's a lot of master data is there. So we always required one consultant to always focus on to the data side. You would be experienced. We were there in a project. It's a very big project. And total 7 PPQM consultant was there. Total 7 PPQM consultant was there. If my count is right, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, so not 7. Total 8 PPQM consultant was there. Out of them, the 4 PPQM consultants was working into the master data team. Their responsibility was there. The 7 country was involved. So many countries was there in a single go live. 7 countries was involved. Their responsibility, these 4 PPQM consultant responsibility was to collect the data, engage with the business, making sure, explaining them the template, collecting the data, validating the data, again, fixing the errors with them, having a connection with the consulting, with the functional consultant, the PPQM consultant who are working into the core functional tracks, understanding then what fields values need to go for different scenarios, explaining to the users, getting the data, and then uploading the data. That is very tedious work. That requires a lot of effort. So you can become a consultant even you have only knowledge on the master data. And that is the first consulting job I did in Accenture when I went for my first project. It was the implementation project. I was on site and I was into the data team. And my work was the material master data, routing. It was not routing, it was recipe, the bill of materials, production version, those template. I was handling it for initial 3, 4 months. And I was thinking, I also learned SAP for 3 years. 3 years when I was working as a key user or core user, I was keep on learning SAP. And I was thinking when I did my job for 2 to 3 months that I have learned so many things. And I did SAP PP certification also. At that time, SAP PP certification, 40% part they cover APO, which I never used it in 17 years, right? So I was thinking, so many things I have learned, but when I am working on, I need to work on the focus area, this focus thing, I might be able to work 1 year earlier also if I go into the market with the right strategy, right? So these are the different areas where the work is there, right? A consulting work is there. It is not necessary that in this area they need someone who knows everything, each and everything in a module. Make a note, even after working for 17 years, even I don't know each and everything. I started as a PP, then I work on MMSG, multiple modules, but I don't know each and everything in a module. Nobody is there. The modules has not become, not even in SAP, you will find the people who knows each and everything in a module. The modules are so wide, so big. That is a mistake a lot of people work, or a lot of people do when they're looking for the jobs and the opportunities. They want to make sure that I want to become an expert first, then I will go into the market. By that time, market will change, right? So you need to make a note of it.